off from the Committee on State and Local Governments, and we refer to the Committee on Commerce and Consumer Protection. Senator Rasmussen.
Thank you, Mr. President. I would request a roll call.
Roll call requested, roll call granted. Any other discussion? Senator Rasmussen.
Thank you, Mr. President. This bill that Senator Friends is attempting to move out of the State Government Committee into the Commerce Committee is related to legalizing online sports gambling. It's a nearly identical version of a bill, Mr. President and members, that has failed twice to get out of the State Government Committee. First in February, when this a very similar bill was voted on, it failed in committee, it was not able to get out. In April, the bill was scheduled to be reconsidered in that committee, and it was later pulled because it didn't have the votes. Mr. President and members, we should not allow a bill that doesn't have the votes to get out of its committee of jurisdiction to just go on to another committee because it doesn't have the votes. Mr. President, I would also say that online sports gambling has yet to have a single successful committee hearing in either the Senate or the other body. And in fact, this bill actually needs to be a House file in order for it to pass into law. And the bill that Senator Friends is attempting to move today doesn't even have a House companion yet. Mr. President, the reason that this bill, this concept has struggled is because of strong bipartisan opposition and many different concerns. You'll see, Mr. President and members, a letter that's being distributed from the Minnesota Catholic Conference. And I think, Mr. President, it's important that if we're going to take up an issue that has serious concern about the negative impact that this could have on Minnesota families for years to come, that we have a full vetting of that bill in the Committee of Jurisdiction, where people like the Minnesota Catholic Conference and others who are concerned can come and offer their testimony, have that discussion, have that debate. And so I would request that members vote no, and we make sure that we keep this bill in the Committee of Jurisdiction and that that discussion can continue.
Thank you, Senator Rasmussen. Senator Friends, before we vote, Senator Friends, I'd like to go to Senator McQuaid, and then you can finish up before we go. Senator McQuaid.
Thank you, Mr. President. I want to slightly echo Senator Rasmussen's comments, and as the Vice Chair of State and Local Gov, I confirm that the way that Senator Rasmussen described the goings-on in State and Local Gov are accurate. This did have a hearing. It did pass out of committee. It was removed from the agenda because it still didn't have the votes. And if we're going to have this conversation, the largest expansion of gambling in Minnesota state history, we do need to have it in the State and Local Government Committee where it belongs, and so I would ask members to welcome to.
Thank you, Senator McQuaid. Senator Friend, before we vote.
Thank you, Mr. President, and thank you, Senator Rasmussen, and thank you, Senator McQuaid. Glad to report after it goes to Congress, I would like to send it to state government to have that very conversation. Again, Mr. President, I've spoken with the chairs of both committees and have their support for this motion. Thank you, members. I ask for your yes vote.
Senator Miller.
Thank you, Mr. Chair and members. Well, as most in this chamber know, there is no bigger advocate for legalizing sports betting here in Minnesota than me. There has been an effort over the past several years to bring stakeholders together, bring legislators from both parties together in both chambers. And last year we had the framework of an agreement that had support from all, if not all, most of the gaming stakeholders, at least no opposition from those stakeholders. We had strong bipartisan support, and there is no one who wants to build on that momentum more than me. And there was a bill that was, a couple bills that were introduced earlier this session that built on that momentum and had the framework of that agreement in place. Unfortunately, the bill in front of us dialed back some of the resources that would support our charitable gambling organizations, as well as the horse racing tracks, as well as funding to help bring major sporting events to Minnesota. So while I am a strong supporter of legalizing sports betting, I'm going to urge members to vote no on this motion in front of us today.
The Secretary, Senator Martin, I'm sorry, I didn't see you. Senator Martin.
Yes, Mr. President, I wasn't going to speak on this, but I similar bill has not made it through state and local committee. This bill has not had hearings or anything else, and taking it out of the committee of primary jurisdiction, sending it to another one, I think is nothing more than a distraction. This time as we're trying to prepare our budget. So I urge us not to accept the motion.
Anyone else before I go on? Seeing that, the secretary will take the roll on the Friends motion. Senator Kunis, for those voting pursuant to Rule 40.7.
Mr. President, Senator Hochschild votes yes.
Senator Hochschild votes aye.
Senator Dibble votes no.
Senator Dibble votes no.
Senator Port votes no.
Senator Port votes no.
And Senator McEwen votes no.
And Senator McEwen votes no. Senator Jasinski, for those voting pursuant to Rule 40.7.
Thank you, Mr. President. Senator Upke votes no.
Senator Upke votes no.
Thank you, Mr. President. Senator Howe votes no.
Senator Howe votes no. The secretary will close the roll. All senators having voted who desire to vote, the secretary will close the roll. There being 15 ayes and 50 noes, the motion to withdraw fails. Members, now the secretary will report Senate Resolution number 33.
Senator Murphy, there is Senate Resolution number 33, the Senate Resolution relating to the appointment of the committee to escort the governor to the House chamber for the joint convention.
Senator Murphy for a motion.
Mr. President, I move to adopt Senate Resolution number 33.
To the resolution, Senator Murphy, please explain
Thank you, members, and Senator Champion. Senate Resolution number 33 is relating to the appointment of a committee to escort the governor to the House chamber for a joint convention in the state of the state.
it. Is there any discussion on the resolution? Senator Jasinski.
Mr. Chair, I ask for a roll call.
Roll call, requested roll call granted. Seeing no further discussion, the secretary will take the roll on the resolution. Members, remember this is the resolution just for those to escort the governor. Senator Kunis, for those voting. Senator Kunis, for those voting pursuant to Rule 40.7.
Thank you, Mr. President. Senator Port votes aye,
Senator Port votes aye.
and Senator Hochschild votes aye.
Senator Hochschild votes aye. Senator Jasinski.
Thank you, Mr. President. Senator Howe votes no.
Senator Howe votes no.
Thank you, Mr. President. Senator Upke votes no.
And Senator Upke votes no. Senator Kunis.
Senator Dibble votes aye,
Senator Dibble votes aye.
and Senator McEwen votes aye.
And Senator McEwen votes aye. All senators having voted who desire to vote, the secretary will close the roll. There have been 52 ayes and 13 noes. The resolution is adopted. Pursuant to the foregoing resolution, I make the following appointments. Senators Clark, Duckworth, Mann, Nelson, and Young. Members remaining under motions and resolutions, I call on Senator Murphy to designate special orders.
Mr. President, pursuant to Rule 26, I designate the following bills and make special orders for immediate consideration. Members, the list is at your desk.
Members, that is correct. The list is on your desk. We will begin with Senate File 1959, Senator Putnam, for the Veterans Omnibus Policy and Appropriation Bill.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Members, before I say a word, I think I want to start with some gratitude, especially when we're talking about veterans. It's a great place to start. And so I want to thank the mighty Nick Roth, Keith Spence, Matt Kelleher, Tom Watson, Andrew Erickson, Haley Bloom Peterson, and everyone who worked so hard all session on putting this bill together. Mr. President, members, I'm grateful for the opportunity for this body to discuss the Veterans Omnibus Bill. I'm proud of it. We're going to talk about this bill. We're going to talk about funding and policy, about the Department of Veterans and Military Affairs, about what's good in the bill and what could be better. We're going to talk about all those things, but as we do, I hope you remember why we are talking. Who we are talking for and about. This bill is about veterans, but it's also about respect. So I'd like to now briefly talk through this bill's most significant budgetary and policy provisions. In terms of budget, we provide $39 million to support our veterans' homes. Minnesota has 8 state veterans' homes. We built 3 more a couple years ago, 3 new ones a couple years ago. They are not operating at full capacity, and veterans are going under and underserved because we don't have the resources to staff these buildings adequately. This $39 million will open up all 8 of these veterans' homes to full capacity potentially so that they can serve and help veterans and help the people who have helped us so much. We also dedicated $120,000 over the biennium to go to technical support for county veteran service officers, especially who work with women veterans, justice-involved veterans, and veterans contemplating suicide. Members, there could not be a better use of state resources than in moments like that. We also do what we can for the Department of Military Affairs, providing a $1 billion operating adjustment for the biennium. I wish we could do more. In particular, I wish we could support sign bonuses a little more than we can, but we work within the context of the budget that we have, and I'm hoping for the global target will give us another opportunity to show respect there when we can. Now, the finance provisions in this bill demonstrate our respect for veterans by giving them the support we can, that in addition to these budgetary decisions, we made some local policy changes, some of which I'll just talk about very briefly right now. We include Senator Howe's bill that enables spouses and children who survive a veteran to gain access to their education benefits. When one serves, the whole family does too. This bill also formally recognizes veterans of the secret war in Laos who fought for America alongside U.S. soldiers. To be clear, it does not change the definition of a veteran, nor does it in any way diminish the service of members who have served as part of our military. In fact, in 2017, Congress and the Trump administration passed the Hmong Veteran Service Recognition Act that enabled veterans of the secret war in Laos to be buried in federal military cemeteries, as well as proxy soldiers from Korea and the Philippines have also been granted some of these rights. Members, this is overdue. Those are all issues at the federal level, but this is Minnesota, and you cannot tell the story of Minnesota without the story of the Hmong. This is about us. Our Hmong neighbors and friends today live the legacy of those soldiers who we can and should respect with our decision today. Members, Minnesota veterans face a number of challenges. It's our solemn responsibility to do what we can for those who've done everything for us. This bill does that. This bill is about veterans, but it's also about honoring service and showing respect. Now, Mr. President, I do have a couple of amendments that I'd like to offer.
Go ahead, Senator.
Before we begin discussion, Bill.
Senator Putnam.
Mr. President, I'd like to offer the A-17 amendment.
Senator Putnam offers the A-17 amendment. The Secretary will report the A-17 amendment.
Senator Putnam moves to amend Senate File number 1959 as follows. Page 22, line 10, delete everything after the period and insert. This is the A-17 amendment.
Senator Putnam to your A-17 amendment.
Mr. President, members, the A-17 amendment is largely technical in nature and deals with a gold and blue star memorial plaque that will be at the Capitol Area Architecture and Planning Board commemorative works. This just tweaks a little bit of the rules to make that process more efficient.
Any discussion on the A17 amendment? Seeing none, all in favor of the A17 amendment, say aye. All those opposed say no. The motion prevails and A17 is amended. Members, we are now still on Senate file number 1959, now as amended. Senator Putnam.
Mr. President, I'd also like to offer the A25 amendment, please.
Senator Putnam offers the A25 amendment. The Secretary will report the A25 amendment.
Senator Putnam moves to amend Senate File number 1959 as follows. Page 14, delete section 9. This is the A25 amendment.
Senator Putnam to your A25 amendment.
Mr. President, members, I want to take a moment to thank Senator Lang for being such a thoughtful and dedicated correspondent as we've talked about some of the issues in this bill. There is one issue in this bill that we still struggle with, and it's important, and it's about protecting veterans from those who take advantage of them to essentially siphon off the benefits to which they are due. Members, I want to be perfectly clear, no penny that should go to a veteran should go to someone who helped them fill out the form. That's my commitment. But there are details and complexities within this issue that I think might need a little bit more time. So, Mr. President, members, what this amendment does is it removes the language about claim sharps that had been an issue of some consternation this session, giving us more time to talk about it a little bit more and come up with a better resolution for the issue in the future.
Any other discussion on the A25? Senator Lang.
Thank you, Mr. President. I appreciate Senator Putnam's, one of the conversations that we've had over the last few weeks and months when it leads to this issue. We're 90% together on this. We want to protect our veterans from claim sharps. This is something that, as we all go through the retirement process, this is important to each and every one of us. I think any vet that sits in the chamber today will agree with me. At the end of the day, I think we're going to do what's right for vets. I appreciate this amendment. I appreciate the support. Thank you.
Any other discussion on the A25? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. All those opposed say no. The motion prevails and the A25 is adopted. Members, we are now still on Senate file number 1959 as amended. Any other discussions or amendments? The Secretary will give the bill its third reading.
Senate File number 1959 is bill for an act relating to state government, establishing a budget for the Department of Military Affairs and the Department of Veterans Affairs.
Third reading. Any other discussion? Seeing none, the Secretary will take the roll. Senator Kunis, for those voting pursuant to Rule 40.7,